Back before everyone was basically a part-time football scout, making some random Dutch teenager famous on YouTube thanks to an epic skills 420 montage set to some terrible dubstep, there wasn't really any way to guess who would be good. I mean, there was the mags who would do some decent scout reports on some young players, but when it came to guessing who would be good in the future, there was only really Championship Manager who would take you to that world of players that you probably would never have heard of otherwise. And if they're good in the game, they must be good in real life, right? Well, in today's video, we're looking back at 5 Championship Manager legends who are actually pretty terrible IRL. With that being said, let's crack on with this list. Number 1, Maxim Seagal. He was literally the best striker I have ever used on any game. Seriously. If you had him in the right team, he could easily become a 100 goal a season striker. Move over, Lionel Messi, no one cares about you anymore. You could get him for an absolute steal of just £1 million. So if he was banging in 100 goals and making Messi and Ronaldo look like Adi Akinbayi, where the hell is he now? Well, it does look like he did have potential at the time, but like so many great players who never made it, injuries really did take charge of his career. He actually had a pretty good goal to game ratio for Dynamo Minsk, netting 24 in 53, but his constant injuries saw him move on and then had 4 clubs in just 2 years. Back in 2010, his injuries took the better of him and he finally had to retire at the tender age of just 26. Number 2, Cherno Samba. The man that I would always team up with Seagal just to keep banging the goals in and easily win titles. Samba was just 16 at the start of 0102, and if his performances in the game were anything to go by, he should have been England's top scorer a long time ago. He was quick, strong, incredibly skillful, and absolutely loved banging a goal in. As a 13-year-old, Samba scored 131 goals in 32 games for his school team, and then ended up at Millwall. He could have moved to Liverpool for just £2 million, but Millwall turned it down, which was probably a mistake for him and the club. After making just 52 appearances across a decade, he had to retire at the age of 29. Hands up if you'd have taken Cherno Samba over Wayne Rooney any day of the week. Number 3 is Serge Makoto. Defender, striker, midfielder, winger, who the hell knows? Basically, this lad would change position at the start of each Championship Manager 4 game, so it was kind of a gamble where you'd have him. However, it really didn't matter where he was because he was just absolutely brilliant. He would be able to bang the goals in over and over again, which for a defender was actually rather handy. So what happened to him IRL? Well, he ended up at MK Dons, insert booing here, and well, had 19 clubs since 2004, and basically only managed to score 24 times. Number 4, Lionel Morgan. Oh, Lionel Morgan, you were literally the best. Screw Messi, you're the only Lionel I ever wanted in my life. On 03 or 04, he was a must-buy that every club needed. Like literally, you needed to buy him so badly, and you could pick the bones off Wimbledon and not even feel bad about it. Yeah, football is ruthless and you need to be. Anyway, Morgan was an incredibly skillful and quick left mid who always provided so many assists and so many goals. So what happened to him? Did he become the much needed left midfielder that England had been crying out for almost a decade? Well, sadly not. He became another who succumbed to injury after injury and sadly had to retire at the age of 21. And number 5, Madeira. Okay, so we're kind of cheating with this one, but honestly, any reason to talk about this really strange tale is good enough for me. Now, I didn't actually get to know about Madeira until a few years after CM 0102. I was pretty much content with Samba and Seagal banging them in for me, but it turned out I could have had a third forward to cause terror, and he was literally the best player of all time, one Madeira. He cost less than 100k and was absolutely everything that you would want from a forward, one that you'd be willing to spend 30 million on. He was an oddity though, playing for a really small Portuguese side and then becoming somebody that could match Pele for his goals. So what happened to him? Well, it actually turned out that he didn't even exist. But this isn't some sort of terrible M. Night Shyamalan plot, it's actually one of the best pranks pulled on game devs of all time. CM and now FM heavily rely on scouts to help them precisely fill their databases and to try and be as accurate as humanly possible. However, in the early 2000s, it was a little bit easier to spread fake things about football. And that's exactly what scout and one-time footballer Antonio Lopez did when he invented Madeira. Obviously, Sports Interactive were not too thrilled by the news, especially after real managers had started using the database as a form of scouting. So Madeira was quickly removed from future titles, leaving many of us wishing that we'd used him more often. But one thing is said, this is an incredible prank pull by Lopez, and we really do want to try and track him down. Do you think that'd be worthwhile, trying to get an interview with Antonio Lopez to chat to the real Toe Madeira? I think so. Let us know in the comments below if you agree. And that's our list. Did we miss anybody out? Let us know in the comments below and we might just make a sequel. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and share this video, and we'll catch you next time for another piece.